Hi, my name is Cezar Mansour. I'm the author of the official guide to building a referral-based business. And today's training newsletter is going to be on follow-up or fail. I've got a email from a client. He's asking us a question regarding he's a realtor, and a friend of his recently listed his home with his sister's new boyfriend. And he's telling me that this is the second time now this year that it's happened to him, and he's asking me what can he do to change that. So before I get into his email, I want to go over a quote that I have that's in my book, and it's called "Your success depends upon your ability to organize." And what I mean by that is that not only organizing your paperwork and your filing and so forth like that, but also your marketing. And how are you following up with people? How are you connecting? How are you keeping on their frontal lobe, if you would, to say, and that they would remember you when there come time to list their home or whatever the issue is. So we'll get into his email. It says, "Hey Cezar, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the training session we just had. You're very welcome." And he just he goes on to say that he's had he has a friend of his that he was at their house recently. And he noticed that their place is up listed for sale. They were having a party, and he says here that I came in. I noticed that they had their house for sale. Kind of felt bad. Didn't know what to say. He came up to me and asked me how I was doing, and then realized that I was a realtor and began to apologize to me about it and told me about his sister and so forth. So, at least it sounds like a good friend. Obviously he was apologizing to you, which is important. But it sounds like to me that you weren't keeping in contact with him. Now, I know in my book we talked about this through our training session, but in my book I talk about how important it is for you to follow up and to have a system and a procedure that's put in place for you to be able to easily take care of that. Now, we've all been there. We've all gone to an event. We've all met someone, or we have this intention to talk to them or to reconnect with them, have a lunch with them, have a cup of coffee, whether it's personal or business related. And you go home with that intent, or to your office with that intent to contact them again, but then you never do. Usually that reason is because you don't have a system and procedure in place, you're not organized to follow up with them. So in this situation, listing here in California, you're talking about $25,000. So you say that's twice this year. That's $50,000 in commissions that's lost. It's a lot of money. It's important to have a system and a procedure in place to do that. In Greg Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he goes into this in detail. He actually looks at the best practices of millionaire agents and what they're doing. All of them have a marketing system that's in place to follow up. All of them also have a initial marketing when you first meet somebody and what they do. In other words, what do you send them right away? Jim Rohn is, I would say, my favorite motivational speaker, and I really wouldn't even call him motivational as much as someone who would bring you to the mat and call you to the mat on things. He says, don't start the day until the day is done. Don't start the week until the week is done. Don't start the month until the month is done. Don't start the year until the year is done. And what he means by that, obviously, is to make a plan for the day. Start with the day, start with the week, start with the month, start with the year. On your marketing, it needs to be a year. Take the time to sit down. Write out what are you going to send out. January, February, March, April, June. What are you going to do to stay in contact with your friend that forgot about you? What I call my marketing is constant pressure. I talk about that also in my book. I talk about the kind of style of marketing you should have and what you should do depending on your profession. Nevertheless, it's really important to go through that. Again, these videos here are for desserts or appetizers on what the information is on the book. I do recommend, like I've talked to this guy here, he definitely has a copy of it. He's read it once, but he needs to read it 10 to 15 times to really understand the precepts and the concepts of it. I made the book really easy to read. It's a little over 100 pages, a lot of white space, a lot of big letters, but the information in there is pretty much cut and dry and right to the point. Again, like I said, I call my marketing constant pressure. What I mean by that is this, like, hey, if I don't keep constant pressure on my clients or my contacts, I'm going to bleed out just like a wound. Just like this guy did here. Not intentional, they forget about you. So what are you doing to set that in place? If you need help with that, you have advice, you need advice on that, go ahead, feel free to email me. You got my email information is on the bottom there of the toolbar, as well as if you want to set up a Skype or email session or voicemail session, we can talk about coaching as well. If you find this message of value, feel free to click on the PayPal link and go ahead and tip me like you would a bartender, $5, $10, whatever you feel is appropriate for that. Also, if you want to get a copy of my book, which I do recommend, you can download it on any Kindle or on any device, mobile device. Just download the Kindle app. Then you can just download the Kindle book itself. You can also order a soft copy of it as well. Again, my name is Cezar Mansour. I'm the author of The Official Guide to Building Referral-Based Business, and I'm here to help you make sure that you succeed. Cheers, success.